when I travel a lot, I take, some kind of device for MP3s and earbuds, and just long plane rides across oceans and so forth. And music's just been such an important aspect of my own spiritual journey. And I think of all the thousands and thousands of hours just joining and merging with the vibe, that spirit that in the music and behind the music. It's just been so important. I think music, I have to say honestly, is what got me into spirituality. That was the first thing that drew me, and so it's beautiful. It's almost fitting that we would have a music festival like this here in the canyon. As soon as we got our sandbox all fixed up, we right away invited all our musician friends to come. And it's so touching, really. And this goes so deep, and I think you'll find this week that the expression sessions and all the sessions that we have are really based on the core teachings of A Course in Miracles and really all the perennial wisdom. But we are very much open into sharing and extending and expressing, and we find that to remove the obstacles, it's beautiful to be able to speak whatever's on your mind into a loving, accepting presence of non-judgment, and it just lightens. Kristen and I were doing a one-on-one today, and she had talked to Carrie before that, and it was so beautiful because it starts to, all the issues start to loosen up and lighten as you're able to allow the thoughts up and allow them up and out without any sense of judgment. It's beautiful that you can be here this whole week and experience that day after day, hour after hour, just to be yourself, to relax, and when something comes up, instead of having that ego censor, judging the thoughts and doing the double whammy thing, and the critic inside, you can just watch that critic dissolve as you allow them up and out. And I think that's a big treat, and I know Leila's worked with a group of people down here over a number of weeks and months, and that's probably been the basis of everything you've been doing here.
Yeah, it's been very profound, the depth that we go together. And it's very humbling to see your brother really just exposing really authentically, just letting it up and letting it out, and it's just so deep. And the campground pod that has been down here that I've been joined with, I have to tell you that, when I was going through a lot of the healing process, it seemed really serious. And because I was thinking it real, and I was praying, there's got to be a simplistic, easy, humorous and light way to look at it, and when you're going through it, it doesn't feel light at all. But it ended up being that Lori and Amanda joined in holy relationship here to actually express their annoyances with each other. And it was so beautiful, and it really became light because they knew why they were doing it, not to make it real, but to let it up and just laugh at the ridiculous voice that's running around, the Christ, and so, they would just sit there and express, and Amanda would go, yeah, chuck it up, or cough it up, Chuckles, it's like when Lori's expressing, and it was just to watch them, it was just so beautiful. It took the seriousness out of it, and that's been the beautiful thing down here with joining with the pod, the campground pod, just to be able to see that we can pop it fast. We don't need to sit in because we're not that. We're not those voices that are spinning around in our heads. So when we have a grievance or judgment, if we can pop it out and, cough it up, Chuckles, and be able to just love each other. And then everybody just started walking around going, "Hey, I just want to really love you," you know. And then when something was coming up and it wasn't really loving, it just felt like crap, and we just want to really love each other. So yeah, it's been really beautiful and very deep and profound, and I'm really grateful to have had the opportunity to join so deeply with everyone here. Yeah, thank you.
And really the purpose of spirituality is to become in touch with your own internal teacher and really be guided and flow in that. And while the ego belief system is still believed in, then everything of this world, which is all just symbols, is used by the Spirit. And you could say words are used in a very specific way. So they could take the form of instructions and guidance, but as you practice with the words, and you do it over and over and over, you get more in alignment with the Spirit, and when you're more in alignment, it just flows through you, it speaks through you, it moves through you. It's absolutely glorious, and that's what the whole purpose of authentic spirituality is about. So, really with this campground, it's come together. There's been many, many collaborations, many little assignments that have come very spontaneously from the Spirit. Not that Leila would necessarily know exactly which assignments were coming what day or when they were coming or sometimes even how they were coming, but there was just a willingness to let it drop in, and that is so beautiful. And so we want you to practice this week, being very prayerful with your use of words, for there to be a spaciousness, to really be present and really be tuned in and listening. And as you're listening, to just let it pour through you. And really with the messengers, that's what's been happening as well. We've been doing this for a number of years, and the reason that we're having this beautiful festival at this campground right underneath the monastery is because if you read the workbook lessons of A Course in Miracles, you notice that there's some beautiful things in there. Our use for words is almost over. The workbook is actually pointing us into a state of be still and know that I am God, that beautiful stillness. And so we're not about adding extra words. We're really about the stillness that's beneath the words. Like Mozart said, the silence between the notes. We're really getting into that presence. That's really what our whole life is about. And what will transcend words is telepathy. Just a sense of feeling and knowing things for sure, for true, like for absolute certain, without a sense to try to get to a meaning through the words. And I think that's a big temptation with the Course. When people read it and they study it and they preach it and they talk about it and so forth, really the point is to get to the stillness and have it be the experience of your life, and not to make it into just more concepts that are kind of bantered around. So we're very strong on the experience and the practice. And I think you'll find that this is a golden opportunity to practice that. We really are glad you're here to practice that together. You'll be practicing with us. When you start to realize that you don't reach the Spirit through the words, you reach the Spirit through letting the Spirit use the words. And then you become more precise in the use of these words. And then finally, the use for words will disappear. And we're very grateful for that. We have a sense of presence and reverence around here, and it's kind of beautiful and symbolic that we're in this quiet, still canyon.